So this is how the story goes, all right? In around 700 BC, the Assyrians are conquering the northern tribes of Israel. At that time, the nation was divided in two parts. You had Judah to the south, then you had what was called Israel to the north. You had roughly about 9.5 tribes to the north and about 2.5 to the south. The Assyrians were conquering city after city after city. And so Hezekiah, who was a king, and he was a godly king, he led one of the greatest revivals that Israel knew. Anyway, there were refugees that were just flooding from the northern part of Israel to Jerusalem. So what he did is he built this wall rapidly, and it was wide. That's why it's called the Broad Wall, because when archaeologists found it, they just named it the Broad Wall. But it encompassed the western side of the city of Jerusalem, because the refugees were just basically living out in the open, and Hezekiah wanted to protect them. So he protected them, and then he also diverted the water from the Gihon spring through Hezekiah's tunnel. He built a tunnel, you guys walked through it yesterday, down to the pool of Siloam, so that he could keep the water inside the city. So he was getting all ready for the Assyrian conquest. Sennacherib, who was the king at that time of the Assyrians, then went down around the south and conquered all of the cities in the southern part of Judah. Jerusalem was the only city left. Assyria had conquered everything. They were the world power, and they were atrociously mean when they conquered. They would put the fear of Assyria in you so that cities would just surrender in countries rather than fight. And so anyway, he comes up and he tells Hezekiah, I'm going to come conquer your city. And Hezekiah goes and prays before the Lord, seeks the Lord, and the Lord heard him. And then God sent an angel and killed 185,000 of the Assyrian troops in one night. So God spared Jerusalem. Later, unfortunately, in 586 BC, the nation would fall. They had these cycles of up and down and walking with the Lord and not. And so then in 586, then the Babylonians came and destroyed Jerusalem. Then the Jews would come back 70 years later, roughly, and then rebuild their country again.
Does it know how
high or how deep? It's pretty well. You can see the bedrock here. Basically, you see where the windows are? That was the height of it, of this broad wall. And he just built it really fast. In fact, it says in scripture, in some places he had to just build it over some homes. Some people just had to move out so he could build this wall. They built it in a hurry because Assyria was coming and he wanted to get ready.